so happy to have all of you joining us this evening. My name is Reagan Copeland. I am the supervisor of Duval School's Family Engagement Department, and we are thrilled to have you joining us today. And by we, I am saying a whole team of fabulousness is on this call, ready to share with you as much information as we possibly can to prepare you, your family, and your student for an amazing year next year in kindergarten. All right, I'm going to get started sharing our screen. Here we go. Here we are. What to expect in kindergarten? Ask the experts, and we certainly have them on hand tonight. Our presenters this evening, we have a fabulous team. We have Jennifer Copeland, who has 13 years of teaching experience. We have Anna Andenmatten. She has 20 years teaching experience. We have Sharon Roberts with 8 years of teaching experience. On this call, we also have Jennifer Lascelles Marcellus with the Office of School Choice, ready to answer any of those questions. We also have Natalie Wright joining us this evening, and she is from the Department of Exceptional Education and Student Services. And finally, I do want to highlight that we have Charlene Gross and Ann Thompson from the Early Learning Coalition, and Sonia McSwain from Duval School's Early Learning Department. She is the director of that and also able to jump in and answer anything you may be wondering about. Content areas we will be discussing tonight include reading, math, and then social emotional skills that you will want to cover to make sure that your little one is ready for that big and exciting day. Again, we will go over enrollment and school choice options. And finally, if you are in exceptional education already, or you think that there might be something in your future, we do have the expert on hand to discuss it. All right, beginning with Jennifer Copeland, we will launch this event with reading.
Good evening, everyone, and I'm happy you're joining us tonight. I'm just going to go over beginning of the year expectations. So we'll start with fine motor skills and language, holding a pencil, crayon, drawing pictures, using scissors to cut. That's not necessarily like when they first come in. It's a little hard for them to, but just practicing at home helps as they do projects later on. Expressing themselves verbally using complete sentences instead of just like broken words or 1 or 2 words here and there. Following simple instructions that would be like 2 to 3 directions, or starting with 2, like push your chair in and come to the rug. Listen attentively. So there's a lot of reading and stories in kindergarten, and so just being able to sit on the carpet, crisscross applesauce, hands in your lap, and listening to a story for 10 minutes, maybe 15. Moving on to vocabulary, recognizing common words like good morning, lunch, snack, bathroom, I'm thirsty. Identifying basic colored words and positional, just the red, blue, green, the core colors. And then positional like up, down, over there. And then moving on to phonological awareness, recognizing rhyming words, like cat, very, very simple, basic in the beginning, like cat, rat. Just knowing that the at sound is related to, that's, you can change the beginning, and knowing that that's a rhyming word, and instead of saying cat, dog, and, complete opposite. Phonetically spelling words, a lot of parents, when some kids come into kindergarten and they're like, oh, they're trying to spell car, but they're only doing CR, just the sounds that they hear. That's perfect. That's actually like what we want. But some parents are worried that they're not spelling words correctly or putting all the sounds that they hear. Again, that's perfect if just the beginning or end sound, or even just the beginning sound. Like in the beginning of the year, they should only be putting beginning sounds. Onset and rhyme, where if I say at, what's the word, we put it together, they're able to say cat. So you're just pulling that beginning sound and then the ending, and then they have to put it together to recognize the word. Phonics recites the alphabet without singing the song. It's okay in the beginning to sing the alphabet, but just learning, A, B, C, and able to say it without the song, the tone. Recognizing some upper and lowercase letters. So as the year progresses, it's normally a letter a week that they'll learn. So we understand if they don't know recognize all of their letters, as every week we focus on a new one. Identifying letter sounds, that's the same. Like we don't expect them to come in knowing all of the letter sounds or even like half of them. If they come in knowing one or two, that's fine because again, we learn every week. Comprehension, just enjoy in the beginning, just listening to stories, being able to respond to simple questions like, what was your favorite part of the story? Who was your favorite character? Which we do go into characters setting and all of that, but that's later on. But just being able to respond to basic, simple questions about a story. Then we have writing, which is recognize. So in the beginning, just being able to write their first name or their first letter of their name, recognizing what their name. Some of them will know that their name is Sam and it's an S, or some of them might say it starts with an S, but they don't. So just recognizing at least the first letter of their name. Also being able to draw a picture to express their ideas, because in the beginning, after we read a story, then I ask what their favorite part is and they go to their seat. Just being able to draw, something that happened in the story or even the character from the story, just something so that we can see their ideas and their thought process. So that's the beginning of the year. And then moving on to the end of the year. So this gets a little bit more not intense, but I feel like the expectations from when I was in school versus now the expectations are a lot higher. But it's nothing that we work together. It's a team. It takes a village to raise a kid. So, with the help of the parent support and just coming to school and learning every day, I feel like it's not anything that kids can't accomplish. So fine motor skills, we'll go through this list again. It's following 5 to 6 instructions, like, for example, when they do center time, being able to go to their center, have their pencil, all of the things that they need, being able to read a story or listen to a story, and then finish a task relating to that story, just following steps from about 5 to 6 more in depth. Establishing the rituals and routines, knowing like in the morning what we do all the way to the end of the day. Speaks in complete sentences, can listen attentively again on the rug, but then now we're moving more towards students will be reading a level B book. And so independent reading time, when they get to first grade, they have to be reading for 10 minutes independently. So we try to establish that. A mid-year to the end of the year, like we'll start with 1 minute, 2 minutes, and then build up, because obviously 10 minutes is a long time. Vocabulary, so they have to recognize, I want to say it's 100 high frequency words, but those are like am, can, play, see, at, color words, number words. But again, with that, like the letters of the week, you focus on like 3 words a week and then you build upon that. So it looks overwhelming right now, but in the grand scheme of things, we break it down. Reads and writes CVC words. So that's consonant, vowel, consonant words like rat, cat, dog, bet, sit. And then CVCE words are consonant, vowel, consonant with a silent E. So it would be like hope, bite, it's saying the long like gates. You hear the A and because of the silent E. And they learn the vowels as well and the sounds that they make. So that's all building up to the CVC, the consonant, vowel, and consonant, vowel, silent E words. The next component, recognizing and producing rhyming words. So instead of us saying like cat, what rhymes with cat? Mat, giving examples, they're able to produce on their own, like, oh, dog, log, and continue on. Onset and rhyme. And so onset and rhyme, there's blending and segmenting. So blending would be if I say at and they have to put the word together, they're like, oh, that's cat. And that also helps transition with writing, because if they can pull the sounds apart individually, then they can make the word. And then segmenting would be like it's the reverse. So if I'm like cat, what are the sounds that you hear? And again, this goes along with writing. They're able to pull each individual sound out to make the word. Understanding syllables, which is the unbroken vowel sound within a word, like blanket. Like sometimes we did like blanket, and it's 2, or you do clap, like blanket. Kids love syllables once they get the hang of it, because it's fun and interactive. Phonics. So by the end of the year, they will be recognizing all upper and lowercase and their sounds and the vowels. to make the words. Fluently reading at a level B, because when they transition to first grade, they jump to a level I book. So there's a huge gap. B to I is a pretty significant. So we really like level B, at least, to go on to first grade. Again, recognizing the vowel sounds. Also, they learn, I don't know why it's not on here, but digraphs and blends like blah, cla, sta, st. Those are blends to help form bigger words. So they also learn that. And then digraphs are like ch and ch, th, wh, which are tricky, but again, we build up to that. That's the very end. Comprehension would be retelling stories using the 5 W's: who, what, when, where, and why. We focus on different components every week to build the knowledge up with that. Understanding the difference between fiction and nonfiction when we're reading and writing. Describing the beginning and middle of end of stories. And then we transition to writing, which by the end of the year, drawing, dictates, and writes to compose. So there's different types of writing. We have opinion, where they are persuading you basically of why they believe that something's the best. And they actually do love that. It's cute to see like the kids when you're writing, and then we come to the carpet and you have like 5 or 6 kids share, and then just listening to like what they love best about something or what they like most. Narrative writing is the beginning, middle, and end. It's fun to see the fiction pieces that they create and the nonfiction. They are really pretty creative and little sponges. They absorb a lot, so it's awesome. And then informative is just basically like report writing, informing you about something. Like we'll pick different topics a week, and they enjoy that as well. Sentence structure, so they'll do capital letters, spacing, and period. That's huge, especially learning like as they transition to first grade because of the expectations. So that is that last component. And then I included some writing examples just for you guys to see the transition throughout the year. The beginning of the year, you can kind of see, like, you can make out the first sound, which is totally fine. I am Snow White, I am a raccoon, I am deer. Some of the letters are backwards in the beginning. That's totally fine. We work on that. Again, just like the phonetic spelling, that's awesome if they're putting just the sounds that they hear at first. Towards the middle of the year, we're progressing because of the high frequency words that they're learning, and more letters have been introduced, the sounds. So this next piece says, I do not like to get a shot. It hurts a lot. Owie. And you can see that there's high frequency words like do, not, like, to, and they are exposed to that. So then it's easier. And then as an example, shot, it's one of the digraphs, SH, which we talked about earlier. But that's towards the middle of the year. And then the end of the year, you see this piece of writing, which is awesome. And it says, the book is Hannah and the 7 dresses. She does not know what dress to wear. The 4th dress has ruffles. She puts black pants on for her birthday. So she's explaining the story. But you can see from the beginning all the way to the very end how we're using more words. We're using blends. We know the vowels. So it's pretty amazing. That's what I love most about kindergarten, is how much growth you see in the very beginning of the year to the end. It's just out of this world amazing to me. So I think it's pretty awesome. But anyway, and then the next slide is just a little cheat sheet, I guess you'd say, to get ready for kindergarten. Letters of the alphabet and just different little things to address before they enter. Like F, I can say how I feel, because that's huge. Like, we need to talk about how we feel and how our day is going, or that's awesome. And then reciting the alphabet. Q, I can ask and answer questions. Another one I like, where is it? I can follow 2-step directions for D. So this is just a little cheat sheet to help with parents, like, get a quick glimpse of garden. But anyway, yeah, I think this is all things that are helpful, and I'm excited that this course is happening, and it was nice to meet everybody. Oh, and Anna, here you go.
Hi, everyone. My name is Anna Anden-Matten. I'm a kindergarten teacher this year. It's my 20th year. I've taught kindergarten, 1st grade, 4th grade, and 5th grade. And I like to teach English speakers of other languages, but I've taught all aspects now. So I'm kindergarten, and I was thinking about what I wanted to say tonight to all the parents. I'm a mom of two that go through Duval County schools, and I love where I work. I love what I do, and I love kindergarten. I just wanted to go over a few things as a parent and as a teacher that might help out when you're transitioning them. A lot of things that I would like to explain. A lot of parents don't know that we do McGraw-Hill, which is an awesome program that the district bought for the kids. And it's really neat. It's interactive. They have workbooks, and we have ours on the big interactive screen. But when they take their test, they're going to take it on a computer. And I think the toughest part in the beginning is a lot of the kids don't know, because everyone's on cell phone. They can download an app in 2 seconds, but they don't know how to use a regular keyboard. They've never been shown that kind. So a lot of the beginning is showing them how to hit a space bar and what the enter key is, and how to turn on the power button on the side of their laptop, and how to move their finger around. Most of them are touch screens, and some of them, they don't know that they can move their finger and click enter. So if you could work with them over the summer or before they enter kindergarten for that, that would help a lot with their math tests. And I always give them scratch paper and pencils next to them so they can have both. The first thing we want to do in the beginning of the year is counting forward and backwards without skipping. And I do a lot of that with fun. I love Scratch Garden on YouTube. It has a lot of counting songs. Then I love starfall.com is free, and I love abcmouse.com. They have a lot of fun math games, and you can go into kindergarten and click on kindergarten, and it zeroes in on what they need. Recognizing the numbers. So they need to see the number and also say the number and write the number. Make it fun. In the beginning of the year, I let them do it out of Play-Doh. If you can give them some Play-Doh and they're making a 1, and then matching. A lot of it is 1-to-1 counting. So if you can at home, just when they're hanging out, Skittles or Cheerios or M&Ms, and make it fun, and just have them pull it over to you one at a time and count on until they get to 10. So pull 1 over and adding first, counting on up to 10. Later on, they're going to be expanding that number and decomposing that number. So they're going to pull it. How many different ways can I make 10? I can pull 2 Cheerios over here, and I have how many left, and let them count them. A lot of kids have trouble because they just want to look at it and say 5. I try to slow them down and say, okay, bring each Cheerio over to you. Buttons. I get them at the Dollar Tree on the checkout. They have a jar of buttons, and you can pour it out on the kitchen counter while you're making something. Just let them count buttons. Matching it with groups of 5, counting on from 5, 10, 15, and pull 5 buttons over. Then we go into shapes, which is a lot of fun. I try to bring things in from home so they can see that a cylinder is like a toilet roll, just the roll. When the toilet paper is all gone, we talk about a cylinder from a juice can. Understanding bigger and smaller, taller and shorter. Are you taller than your sister? Shorter than. What's greater than? We use words like greater than, not bigger. Greater than and less than. That's going to be a lot on their tests later. And knowing how to represent. I always do fun games with part, and whole. Part of my is in my hand here. I have 4 M&Ms here, and I have 4 M&Ms here. Part of it's here, part of it's here. Let's put it together. And now I have a whole bunch of how many? Let's count them. Make it fun. I love Scratch Garden. If they're in the car and they've got your phone, Scratch Garden has a lot of fun primary counting. Count by 2s, count by 3s, count by 5s, count by 10s. It's a lot of fun for them to count, and they start hearing that song and then they remember later. With McGraw-Hill, there is a lot of matching the numbers with the pictures, and later on they'll get into storytelling, word problems. Susie went to the park with 4 friends. 1 friend had to leave. So if you can say that to them when they're at the park, how many kids are on the swings right now? That's going to match what's on their math test. I try to do that with my kids when they're on the playground at school. How many people are playing right now in the garden? There's 6. Oh, 1 just left. How many are there? Use real life examples. A lot of, like she mentioned before, fine motor skills are tough in the beginning. That's why they need to practice their little scissors over the summer and get them a little pair of kid scissors, because they are going to cut out the numbers and put them in order. And then we're going to go backwards and we're going to match the numbers down. A lot of kids I've noticed when they first come in, they don't know how to take a test, and that's our job to help them. And I try to tell them it's just for fun. Don't worry. And when you see the number 1 and there's an A, a B, a C, and a D, just circle one of them. They want to. And that's okay. They've never seen it before. But if you can just show them maybe on a menu, let's just pick one thing. Use real life examples. Another thing that if you can start working over the summer before they enroll, money and coins and looking at the clock, because that will come up on some tests later. Show them a penny is brown colored. What's the front look like? What's the back look like? Let them flip over the coins, because on the test it will show, and it gets kind of tricky. It'll show the front of the quarter and the back and add them together. So I try to pass out, real ones. And if you just let them have, don't give them all your money, just give them a little bit of coins when you're going somewhere. And when they, they want to leave the tip. What is this? This is $1. Now I have $2. Let them have fun with it. Let them see you doing it, counting the coins, counting the money, and looking up at the clock. Let's look at the shorthand first. I always tell the kids, look at the little magic hand first. And now we're going to look. What time? What is it kind of pointing to? And just let them start looking at the clock. And then they'll feel prepared and confident when they come into class and we give them clocks and they get to practice their timing. Schedules and stuff like that. Looking at the clock, I give my kids visuals on the clock. If you have one at the house, and just say, at 3 o'clock, we have snack, and put a little picture of a snack and say, okay, the hand is pointing to the 3. And that helps them, because when they get to school, some of them are nervous about that stuff. So I put it around my clock in my classroom so they can look up and they'll go, oh, it's 8:30, and I put a little bell. Yay, school has started, and make it fun. I just want them to love math, and I want them to, a lot of songs help with that. A lot of games help with that. When they're out at the park, if you can have them, skip, jump. I mean, I know it's old school as hopscotch, but it does help with their counting, and they're having fun, and they're getting up and moving, and that's what 5- and 6-year-olds need to do. I'm here to answer any questions at the end. I love teaching kindergarten. I love teaching elementary, and I'm excited to be part of this panel. I think it's neat that the parents get to see what's expected and any little hints. And please, as a kindergarten teacher, please write their names with Sharpie on the inside of all their coats and jackets and send extra clothes. All the kindergarten teachers will appreciate that. Thanks, everyone. Have a great night.
And here is an image, parents, if you want to take a screenshot of this, just an idea of what they would be asked to do in math, some examples, fun ways to even make these sets at home. These are things that they might see in their classrooms in August.
Hi, I'm Sharon Roberts. I'm here to talk about the social emotional development of your future kindergartner. So when I like to think about social emotional development, I like to think of it as your child and how they're beginning to understand who they are as a person. They're able to now know how they feel, and they're also able to kind of know what they expect from certain situations. So all of these come together in the classroom. Social emotional development, things that we expect from kids when they get to kindergarten is being able to be separated from their caregiver. I know a lot of the time it's their first time in kindergarten or the first time in a school setting. So the expectation is that they're able to be separated without them having, a meltdown or crying. It happens, some of them, they love their mamas. I have my little guy. He's a mama's boy, so we have to practice that. We're looking at how they interact with their peers. So they need to have respectful interactions with their peers. They should be able to follow simple directions. And then using bathroom and washing their hands on their own. So we want them to be more independent. In kindergarten, there's no one in the potty with them. They have to go into the stall and do their business on their own. So we need to make sure that they're independent. It's important that they can say their name, first name, last name, and their age. And then we want them to be able to demonstrate self-control. And we would also like for them to have manners. So say, please, thank you, and then be able to clean up after themselves. Because when they're in kindergarten, they're in a cafeteria and they have to eat and then throw all their trash away. So these are things that's expected of them. Now it's a lot. So what we're going to do next, we're going to talk about things that we can do at home to prepare them for kindergarten. So it's January, we have until August to prepare them. So things that I did, I have a first grader now. So what I did at home was we practiced empathy. So these are all a lot of like fun play-based things that you can do. It doesn't have to be like a whole serious thing. So for empathy, what I like to do is I would read her stories, and then when something would happen to a character, I would ask her, "Oh, how do you think this person felt when this other character did this?" And then she was able to become aware that other people have feelings as well. You can also do this by having just regular conversations with them. So ask them how their day is, and then have conversations with them just so that they're aware that, or they're becoming more aware that they're not the only person. The world is filled with other people with different feelings and emotions, and so they become aware. The next thing is I would teach emotional regulation. So with this is that you need to tell them that they need to identify how they feel. So that's the big one. So, they're 5. They're experiencing emotions, and emotions can be very big. They need to be able to identify that. So you can talk to them about like, well, when your heart is racing, well, that's you feeling nervous. If you want to calm down, you can do this activity, and then teach them how to calm themselves down. Something that I like to teach my students is I like to call them mustache finger. Have them place it underneath their finger and have them take deep breaths. That actually, there's a pressure point underneath your nose, and that actually really does calm them down. So this can help with nervousness and can help with anger. So little small things that you can do for self-regulation. Practice taking turns at home. So maybe they're an older sibling and they already know how to take turns and practice and share. Maybe they're an only child. If they are, maybe ask them or show them, you're not sometimes in kindergarten, depending on what the teacher's preference, they might have communal supplies. So they're going to have to share that red crown. They're not going to have all their crown boxes to themselves. So making sure that you're teaching them like, okay, so if somebody has a crown that you like, make sure you're asking and not taking, taking without asking or snatching, because then that would help with conflict resolution, and that would go into the next one. When teaching conflict resolution, teach them to compromise, start showing them now that there are ways to get things done, and sometimes you have to meet in the middle. I would also like to talk about things that you can do during the summer to help them make the transition into kindergarten a lot smoother. So what I do with my daughter was I practice bedtime routine and morning time routine during the summer the way I know I would have to do it once school started. So let's say you're going to have them, maybe she's used to sleeping 10 o'clock, she had a later bedtime. We have to practice getting them to bed early, showing maybe having her pick out her clothes the night before, brushing teeth, just getting them prepared for how routine is going to look for once they're in school. The same with morning routine. So if you know that once they're in kindergarten, they're going to have to get up a little bit earlier, maybe setting that alarm clock early and having them practice, teaching them to brush their teeth, teaching them to eat breakfast early. So setting routines is really going to be helpful. I would also teach them how to unpack their lunchbox. So if you have them at home during the summer and they're going to be bringing a lunch once they go to school, have them learn how to open the packets on their own, because typically there are monitors in the cafeteria, but there's a bunch of other students as well. And you don't necessarily know, you don't want your child to not eat their snack because they don't know how to open the packet. Opening storage things, zipping and closing stuff. So I would have them practice that. And then something else that would be helpful is if your child does not know how to tie their shoes, teach them to tie their shoes or have them wear slip-on shoes. That would help immensely with preparing them for kindergarten. It would make your life easier. It'll make your teacher's life easier. It'll just make everyone's life easier having those done.
So good evening. My name is Jennifer Marcellus. I'm with the Office of School Choice. And today I'm going to share with you a couple of your choice options here in Duval County. And we're going to go through step by step some enrollment information. So first, there are many choices here in Duval County. And we find that more often than not, families choose their zoned attendance area school. And so if you are a rising kindergarten family who has never attended a Duval County public school, we do need you to register your child, which we'll talk about in a moment. If you currently attend one of our VPK programs, congratulations, you don't have to register this year. You are automatically registered and you will automatically be enrolled in your zoned attendance area school come this summer. There are, of course, magnet options here in Duval County. We have whole school magnets, dedicated magnet schools, and then schools within a school. Transportation is not available, or well, transportation may be available based on your residential address. The application window is now open. I know it seems so far away from us right now. However, the application is open now and will remain open until January 31st. So all applications need to be in by that time. If you are on the fence, please go ahead and apply to a school. There is no obligation. You can cancel the assignment if you do receive one, but it's better to go ahead and apply now on the off chance that you need a special assignment. In addition to, we have our special transfer option schools. There is no transportation available for these schools. It is the responsibility of the parent or the guardian. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that we can talk about enrollment very quickly. So everything is available online. And so now on the screen, you should see our Duval County Public Schools. You should see our main webpage. And from there, you just need to go to duvalschools.org/enrollment. And from there, you will see 5 quick steps. Choose a new student. And then you'll see 5 quick steps. Now, I do want to point out that really the heavy lifting is 3 through 4. The know your requirements. Your child must be 5 before September 1st. Gathering your documents. This gives you a wealth of information about the documents that we will need prior to enrollment. We do encourage parents to upload as much information as they can now, just because it helps the process moving forward. The main thing is our documents of residency. And so we do list the documents here that we need in order to establish your residency here in Duval County. And then we get to the nitty-gritty. So there is an online application form. The form is currently configured in such a way that you cannot go back in once you have logged out. So I would encourage you to set aside probably a good 20 minutes to go through the form and to complete it from the beginning to end. Please make sure to identify yourself as a custodial parent when you are making the selections, when you answer the questions. After you complete this form, your student ID number will be emailed to you. So this is the confirmation email that you'll get welcoming you. And then you can go to step 5. And step 5 is all about creating a parent account and then linking that parent account to your student's account so that you would have access to grades, attendance information, teacher email addresses, all those types of things in the fall. In addition to, you'll have the ability to receive notifications from the school once we roll over to the 25-26 school year. So we do ask that all parents are linked. As your children get older, if they ride the bus, there will be transportation information available on the parent account as well, things that are helpful to you as a parent as you navigate the school system. In addition to, when you link your student's account, you will also have access to the applications. So if you decide that you do want to move forward with applying to a magnet school or a special transfer option school, you will have access to those applications. Parents may make up to 2 magnet school choices and 1 special transfer option choice. On this page as well, you'll find some helpful links. You'll be able to find your school. So if you're not sure what your zoned attendance area school is, you can find it there. In addition to, you can find out more information about school choice. So those are the 5 easy steps. And then if we go back to the PowerPoint, so school choice, our contact information. This is our general information. The QR code, if this evening you have a question that you would feel more comfortable discussing with me one-on-one, you can scan that QR code and I will reach out to you tomorrow and we can discuss your concerns. In addition to, I'll put my email in the chat later this evening. We do have the opportunity for parents to make an appointment, but I do want to let you know that most of the issues that parents are currently running into, we can solve them virtually in an email conversation if you are a little patient with us. So once again, the application deadline is January 31st. And so we do want to make sure that all parents are aware of that moving forward as we move towards the end of this month. So thank you for joining us. We greatly appreciate it. And I'm going to pass the baton to Ms. Wright.
Hi, good evening. My name is Natalie Wright. I'm the supervisor of the Southeast Support Team Office with the Exceptional Student Education Services. We do provide a comprehensive supports and services to students with disabilities who qualify for special education. We offer a continuum of services in the Duval County Public Schools in a variety of settings, including the general education classroom. So that's your typical kindergarten class, as well as resource pullout rooms with an ESE teacher. There are several self-contained special education settings within the Duval County Public Schools, specialized day schools, and hospital homebound programs should a child need those services. Eligible students are provided services through an individualized education plan, which is also called an IEP, and those are designed to your child's specific needs. These are the disability categories recognized in Florida for students to be eligible for special education, including autism spectrum disorder, deaf, hard of hearing, developmentally delayed, dual sensory impairments, deaf and blind, emotional and behavioral disabilities, hospital homebound, intellectual disabilities, language impairment, orthopedic impairments, other health impairments, specific learning disabilities, speech impairments, traumatic brain injuries, and visual impairments. Students who are eligible for special education or exceptional student education may also be eligible for related services. There are services through assistive technology that a student may benefit from, language impairment, which would be language therapy through a speech and language pathologist, occupational and or physical therapy, orientation and mobility, and speech impairment, which would again be offered through a speech and language pathologist. Duval County ESE department is committed to fostering strong partnerships with the parents and guardians of our students to ensure that they are actively involved in all educational decisions regarding their child. Parents are provided with procedural safeguards. Those are your rights as a parent of a student with a disability, and you are an integral member of the IEP team. There are no decisions made without you. Collaboration between the school, staff, families, and students is essential to the success of students with disabilities. By working together, we can fulfill our mission of providing educational supports and services for every student every day and achieve our vision of preparing students with diverse needs for success in life, college, and career. So where do you go from here if you have questions or concerns? Most questions can be quickly addressed by the staff at your child's school. And you can start with contacting your child's teacher once they are already enrolled in school and you know who their classroom teacher is, or if they already have an IEP, by contacting their ESE teacher. If you do not know your child's teacher and you want to reach out before then, you can contact the school guidance counselor, the assistant principal, or the principal of the school that your child will be attending with questions or concerns. If you are still not getting your questions answered and you need further support or assistance, I've included the information for the Northwest supervisor, Andrea Boyd, and my information for the Southeast supervisor is the email and the phone number for both offices. And if you still have further questions and feel like they're not being addressed, I have included the information for our EESS main number, as well as an email address that will go to several people, and you will have your question answered or routed to the correct person. Thank you.
All right. Bravo to everyone. Families, we certainly hope that you found this information helpful. Certainly plenty of examples were shared. Thank you to all of our classroom teachers for all of those examples and suggestions along the way. I wish I'd thought of many of them over the years. I'm seeing some nodding heads. We do want to take this time, of course, to thank all of you who are in attendance. We hope that you were able to find this information helpful. We could address your questions, concerns, and if not, I can assure you one of us will answer your question in an email. So take a moment and send us your question. Happy to help. We want to make sure that your child's experience, as well as yours, is a fabulous one, because kindergarten is an exciting time, and we want to make this an exciting journey and successful journey for the entire family. So we are here for you. Family Engagement is always prepared to support our families throughout Duval. So know that we are here and you are not alone. Again, my name is Reagan Copeland with Duval County Public Schools, and we are thrilled to have helped you today. Have a wonderful evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us. We hope to see you at another Parent Academy webinar in the near future. Take care and good night.